But what I'll show here in this demonstration is the unit, the hardware device setup on day one, out of the box in standalone offline mode. This should pop up here. There we go. And so it can be as simple and easy to operate on day one within about 10 minutes of configuration to really conduct 3 essential things if you want it to, including temperature scanning. I have it set up to do a pass or fail based on a temperature threshold that I created and have it set to. Maybe your guidelines are very specific and you want a specific temperature to allow a pass into your facility. I also have it conducting a mask check, a mask detection, whether or not I'm wearing a medical mask or bandana, to providing a pass or fail to allow access to the facility. And I also have it set up conducting facial recognition based on a photo that I uploaded to the device locally. Again, all of these pieces I'll walk through can be set up again within about 10 minutes with only power to the wall, no crazy amount of integration required, maybe just for your day one, just wanting to take temperatures. So I'll go ahead and put my mask on here and walk through the device and just how easy it is to use. Something to note is, as you see on screen here, is the device in idle mode. So it's just waiting in standby, just showing that the device is powered on and waiting for me to come up and get scanned. So I'll come up about 4.5 feet away from the device, and it'll show that I'm within the field of view of the device. So it'll turn on. And what you can't hear, because I have the audio turned down a little bit so it doesn't interrupt our phone call here, is there's an audible narration stating as I get into field of view to please come close and have my temperature taken. So I'll come a little closer as the device is narrating me to, and I'll come within about 3 feet to 1.5 feet to have my temperature, mask, and facial recognition detected. So as you can see there, it acts pretty quickly within about 1 to 2 seconds. I'll do this a few more times so you can really see how it functions. So again, come up 3 feet to 1.5 feet. And there at the end, you'll see my employee photo that it's detecting and matching from as well. So the cool thing here is it's actually doing facial recognition while I'm wearing a mask, which is pretty unique. So it'll show the temperature on screen there, 97.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So it'll pass me for temperature, mask, and facial recognition there at the end. So I'll go ahead and take off my mask so I can show you what a mask detection fail would look like. So if you have mask detection turned on, again, you can turn it on or off. But for this demonstration, I'll show you what a fail would look like. So I'll come up to the device without wearing a mask. So I'll go ahead and take my temperature, but it won't allow entry. And at the very end there, it'll provide a red visual notification. It says no entry, and it says please wear a mask. And the audible narration as well is also stating to please wear a mask. So I have a gentle reminder if the place I'm walking into is requiring that or not. I'll do that one more time so you can see how quick that works. So I'll take my temperature, and it'll notice again that I'm not wearing a mask as well. I do have a hot cup of water that I'll show too of a temperature fail on the device. So I'll put this right above my forehead so it'll recognize me as a person before it can actually do the scan. So it's showing on screen there the temperature, and I'll do that one more time. There's a red visual notification at about 111 degrees Fahrenheit. So I probably need to go see a doctor here. But again, we're only screening for abnormal temperatures. So if someone was to get scanned and you want to provide a diagnosis, you'll want to look at your own guidelines of how you want to administer that. That's really is how easy it is to use. And on day one, again, all of what I just showed you for the system to work was easy to set up in about 10 minutes or so with no advanced configuration required. So that concludes the live device demonstration portion of this webinar, and I'm going to switch over now to the software portion of the webinar here and show my screen. So 1 second. So now everyone should be able to see my screen here with a web user interface of the system management software that comes with the device. So what you're looking at, maybe on day 60, you want to spin up this software and some advanced features to the system. This software would come with your subscription, and you can spin the software up to an on-prem server within your environment or to the cloud, which would allow other capabilities and access. However you want to administer the system is at your own discretion. But in this console view, and the software really unlocks a lot of other use cases and management capabilities within the system, which are very helpful. So I'll walk through a couple of key points on this, not get too in the weeds with everyone, but just know that it's really well built, and the user interface here is very simple and easy to use, as you can see. So at first glance, when you open the console view and you have access to the system, you'll be able to see how many devices are online or offline, and which is very helpful for proactive management of a system beyond, say, just one device. So you're not having to send a support team member out to multiple locations. You can really pinpoint, maybe where an issue might be. You can also see today's traffic. So you can see how many users have been passed or failed through the system. And you can also pull a report off that as well. So you have kind of instant metrics to take a look at when you log in. What's very useful too, if you choose to use this beyond day one, just temperature scanning, you can also turn on attendance tracking. So this can also be employee HR management for tracking attendance of certain persons you have inside of your personnel database, which we'll walk through in a little bit. But it can be also very helpful, maybe beyond just temperature screening as a tool and device. So it's not just one trick horse here. You also have the ability for real-time monitoring, which is helpful, and you'll be able to see as I refresh this as well, some of the more recent scans from the demo that we just conducted as well. So it's uploaded pretty quickly. It's all going to be based on your network and how fast that is. But inside of real-time monitoring, we'll be able to see, if someone was a registered employee in green or not, or a visitor, or if we have stranger mode turned on in the system, we'll be able to see if they're an unregistered user. Maybe someone who's just we haven't logged into the system yet. But we can see, what location or device they were scanned at, date and time, and maybe why they failed or why they passed as well. So very useful information just upon logging in. In-device management is a very helpful, I would call an enterprise level tool, allowing us to manage all of the devices really in one user interface with a lot of granularity. So in here, we can group different devices, maybe per building, per location, per hallway, per door, even if we want to. And then we can start providing certain access levels and privileges shown here in the associate device group. So maybe, a certain employee only has access to level 1 and not level 7. That's where we can make the distinction here in the software. We can also update the software remotely on the device as well. So as new feature updates come out, we can do them maybe one by one or per group or per location, however we want to do that. We can also see maybe what version software each device has here. So as we see, there's a newer version in one unit versus the other. So we can go through and be able to see, troubleshooting if there's maybe an issue from there. We also have information like IP address, MAC address, and other device-specific information. We can also power cycle, shut down, restart, and reset the device remotely from this management software tool. And we can also open a door remotely if we have that configured and set up within the system. There's a whole host of other features I won't get into the weeds with under device details and some of these other windows, but we can really set a lot of different advanced parameters on the device remotely using this software, which can be very helpful. I'm going to note in attendance management, if you want to use this additional feature, this is where you can create different shifts for employees if you want to start tracking attendance for specific shifts and times. You can also create public holidays shifts as well. So maybe your building's closed certain hours of the day for certain holidays with limited access to certain personnel. That's where you can make that distinction here. In attendance records and statistics is where we'll be able to pull specific reports based on tracking attendance. What's also useful is we can export this information into an Excel table and be able to use that maybe with another system or other tracking purposes as well. In personnel management is another very useful tool within this software that allows us to bulk upload existing employee databases or make single editions of a new employee personnel. We can also group those employees within specific groups. So maybe you have maybe a group for HR employees or front desk personnel or security, et cetera. And you want to have those groups have specific rights, permissions, and levels within your facilities as they walk through these different devices, granting them access maybe to level 1 or 2, et cetera. It's really where a lot of this advanced setup configuration can be made. This is also where you'd be able to upload a photo on the network for these devices to use for facial recognition. If you're not using this software, it's not required for facial recognition. If you're just using standalone mode, you would just upload that picture directly to the device locally. But this is a very useful tool if you want to manage a wider system of employees or personnel, which is very helpful. There's a lot of detailed information we'd be able to put in here that allows us a bit more of management capability across the platform. Visitor management is also, it operates very similarly to employee management, but really meant for your visitors and guests. So this is where maybe if you have a guest waiting to come into your facilities and ahead of time they provide you some basic information. Now when they come up and get scanned, they'll be able to get checked in and registered into the facility, maybe with specific access privileges that you gave them. You can also group different visitors too, so maybe different classes of visitors, et cetera, as well. You can also export all the information I'm showing you here, maybe to another Excel sheet that you want to leverage for other uses or other systems too. Restricted management operates similarly to visitor employees, but really for people you maybe don't want to have access or limited restricted access inside of your facilities as well. In pass management, this is essentially where all of the records will be stored from all of the devices locally inside the server or cloud that will allow you to export these records, maybe with specific date and time parameters, and pull specific reports. So if you know that maybe location A with these 3 devices, there was information you wanted to pull from that, maybe for your own contact tracing strategy, you could export these specific records and maybe interface those with other data sets that you want to leverage. But we can pull these reports based on employee, visitor, strangers, maybe whether or not they passed or failed within a specific metric, or what type of access they were given to the facility, whether that's through face recognition, an ID card, or an IC card, granting them access, which is helpful. A few other features without getting too deep in the weeds with this software, which is very helpful from an IT management perspective, is we can create different usernames. So we can start delegating permissions, rights, and access into the software that I'm showing you here. So maybe you have a front desk person who you want to manage that front desk door and that specific device with maybe limited access to features. This is where you'll be able to set up that new user with limited access to that one device, with just the ability to turn on or off certain features or allow access remotely. You can also create different user groups that have similar rights and permission levels, which really allows you, as you expand this maybe throughout your enterprise or throughout your organization, just really helping how you manage and operate this system, which is very helpful. In business management is another really useful tool I want to go over, is allowing you to create new companies within the software So if you maybe are a real estate organization, and you have multiple organizations who operate independently inside of your facility, you can provide them, certain rights and permission level access into the software here as well, allowing them to, take control of specific devices, allowing entry and exit of their shop as well. What's also useful as a new feature, we actually now have email notifications within this system. So we can now allow for an abnormal temperature reading to trigger an email to be able to be sent out to maybe a specific group of emails for security purposes or what have you. We can also send attendance records too, if you want to use that feature via email, which is very helpful. That really concludes my overview presentation of the software and the device hardware.